Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is GrumpyKoi, and welcome to the ETF2L Season 30, Week 4. But I am not alone. I'm joined by Beta on production and TurboTabs as my kind of backup caster, like last second caster. I think that's the best description we've got for you right now, my friend. How are you doing?
I always wanted to be a backup caster. Can't we just pretend I'm Kratos for the evening? That would be so much nicer.
No problem at all, Kratos. I don't think he would have quite kind words to say about that, but we can go with that if you really wish. But yeah, we've got the Bin Black versus Ascent.EU. Two teams that, well, the Bin Black have had kind of a rocky start to the season, I'd say, compared to some of the other teams in Prep. But Ascent, not as strong as last season, but definitely a team to kind of watch and see what they can do. They have got a full French team, so it will be quite interesting to see what these two teams can kind of bring forward to the table, don't you think, Turbo?
Yeah, I mean, it's just two teams where I had high hopes for Ascent.EU, but it's that sort of thing where you've got a new team, you've got a new sort of players that are coming back from the game after a long period of break. So they're just trying to shake off the rust, and these are some big names from back in the day, Grumpy. So these are like Medico, and you've got Corback, Neo, Opti is a big name that maybe not everyone's too familiar with, but if you've been around the block a few, Opti's only ever been praised when it comes to his gameplay. But as a unit, they just didn't seem to mesh together, at least out of the gate for this TF2 season. So they're finding their feet as time goes along now, and now we're getting into the meat of it, of the ETF2L season, where you kind of decide where you're going to be in that playoff bracket.
And then alongside that, we've just spoken about them. We've got the Bin Black, which used to be TDD, and then was the Swamp.
Oh, don't remind me.
Yeah, so they've changed their names quite a bit, but that's Degu, Lucas. Lucas kind of coming back into Prem. He kind of took a step away past season. Yelen's been playing really well, despite how the performance of his team. Every time I've watched him play, he's punished a lot of really good teams for their mistakes. And I hope to kind of see that come out of him. He's just very good at kind of just walking through a door when no one expects him and forcing the med or getting a kill onto the med. So that'll be quite interesting to see. And then they've got Gink as well on flank, who he played last season with them. So he's quite comfortable. And Hems and Grooves on the scouts. Groove being kind of a bit more of a standout scout than Hems this season so far. But it could be interesting. Like, I don't see... Usually when I would think, you know, the Bin Black versus Ascent.EU, I would, like last season, it would be Ascent all the way. But like you mentioned, with a lot of that rust, I think it could be kind of close. I could see it being a map each for this one, or something along those lines. What do you think, Turbo?
It's just very close. It's literally down to the wire. I think it's week 4 is roughly the amount of time I'd expect like a team that's coming back into TF2 to kind of gotten into gear a little bit. But the Bin Black have been impressing me. They've especially by my little research at the start of the season, I was looking up these players, looking at these teams, and I saw like, oh, they picked up Groove, a guy that used to play Soldier in the past, like kicking around Div 1 for a couple of seasons here and there. It's nice to see him move up, but they then put Gink away from his scout class over onto the roaming soldier, and then put Groove onto the scout, and it's been working like lovely for not just Gink but Groove as well. And yeah, they've all just been a great highlight. I think if there's going to be any sort of matchup tonight on who's going to dominate or who's going to win it, it's going to be down to the demo men, Grumpy, because these 100%. Are both star players on their roster. These are the big names for both of these teams, and it's really about, and it's quite sort of the, I wouldn't say demo meta, but it's like the demo show for the past couple of seasons now, where a lot of people have been like, hot damn, these demo men are entertaining. They're like really going balls to the walls. Their pipes are just out of this world. And Lucas and Elacore define that in these past couple of seasons, as well as this season coming into it. So I think I really, really want to see the stats on them as well. I want to see these hot mids coming out of them. I just want to see how they're broken down in these two teams, because I think they are sort of two demo men centric teams as well.
Yeah, like I want one thing that I think is going to be interesting is actually how Yellen plays against Elikor's playstyle, because I mentioned before I've seen Yellen punish a lot of players, and Elikor loves to play aggressive. He loves to play forwards. He likes to really get into the face of the enemy team and pipe people like crazy.
Well,
but I didn't even realize the game had started, and we haven't even started, and the first mid goes to Bin.
Yeah, just as we were kind of saying, how would they react to Elikor? Well, they just fragged him immediately in the first 5 seconds of that mid. Yeah, it's CP Cardinal, so there's a lot of new things with both of these teams. This is their second week, however. So, yeah, take it away, Grumpy. We're still fighting!
Yeah, there's still a lot of fighting going. Opti actually picking up a frag for his team, and Ascent have got all of their players up. They managed to defend their second from a bit of an overextension from the Bin Black. And it looks like Ascent are coming into this midpoint. Chris up on the high area, actually playing for the Bin as a merc, and he actually gets picked up by Elikor here. So it looks like they don't actually have Groove with them for this game, just as we mentioned how Groove's been doing. But that was a nice little repush from Ascent. They managed to take that and take mid, and they're looking to go in a second right now. Uber's really quite equal, so this is going to be a dry push. So it's all about what players they can really pick. And as I mentioned before, Elikor really far forward, taking a lot of damage from players. He's super low on the point, and like Turbo jumpers coming up left, right. Korvac actually helped picking up Yellen, and Ascent managed to take this second on a dry push.
Yeah, I can see the advantages of Cardinal's second point there, where you can make this sort of push out and you kind of get this free high ground, basically. If the defender's disadvantage wasn't enough on that second point, you get a high ground coming straight into second. So they just abused that fact, realised that even with Elikor brought down so low, it wasn't too much of a dangerous situation. Chris will be the anti-air gun, takes out the soldier aggression from the entire Ascent squad, whilst I was blabbering on about some second push, and both teams are now on even Ubers.
Yeah, Medico and Korvac actually tried a double bomb. Medico went in for a distraction play, and Korvac tried to clean that up, but like you mentioned, Chris just on the pootis denying that, and the Bin looking to come out. Chris not swapping up, but Opti's actually going around the back line, so if his team can defend, there's no one behind to stop him. I think Yellen's just spotted the back cap coming out, and he's going for the denial, but Opti wins it, and that's...
Oh my!
What a save from Gink last second, but Ascent want to take this forward on the lower ground, but they're just getting spammed by so many players. Turbo Medico going over the top onto the medic, gets the force out of Degu, and that Uber may be something they can kind of work with on the side of Ascent, but they pick up Medico with Chris, and they're just going to kind of turtle up a bit. Maybe, yep, Hem's going for that engineer, which is kind of the staple at the moment, is the engineer and heavy combo, I find. So, yeah, they're looking to set this up. Where they're setting up the gun, they're setting up the gun behind crates, and yeah, it's just gonna fizzle out. Some of that energy, some of that speed we've seen at the start of the game is gonna fizzle out. Never mind as Neo goes in on the Uber. Elikor in the sky, getting just shot by everything, but he manages to stay alive thanks to the buff from Umbrak. Players go left, right and centre. Opti actually getting picked up. Medico picking up Yellen though. Neo down, 2 down for Ascent, only 1 down for Bin. Korvac still in the background, getting nice air shot from Gink, and that'll be a secure last hold from the Bin Black.
Yeah, I think the post-Uber positions from Ascent.EU kind of led into a bit of chaos. Nobody knew where everybody else was or what the play was going to be, so I imagine the Mumble was just as chaotic on the side of Ascent as their gameplay was, and that just led to an easy defense because they've got the old Pootis just kind of breathing down their necks and just kind of making that defense even better as time goes along. So they will lose that last point, and they will gain that second point over on the Bin Black. They're pushing into mid now. They have got the Uber advantage, but Umbrak should be waiting in the wings with his own Uber any second now. Yeah,
and Lucas actually took a lot of damage as they went forward. They managed to pick up Korvac, which may be a little bit of an advantage to create some pressure. They managed to delay the forward spawn, so they've sent Korvac back a little bit further. Neo having a bit of fight on that left side in that little house, whilst the rest of the Bin Black are coming through this valley area. Hem's really far forward, but no real like deaths coming from anyone. Just a lot of exchange spam right now. Wait, what? Does one of the scouts have what's it called? The Sandman? I just saw a Sandman fly across my screen.
Are you sure it's not the bauble one?
It might be the bubble one. I don't know. It was a ball flying in the air. That's all I saw. But
ETF2L admins, take note, please. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just an even stalemate at this point, and
Gink's
they actually
trying to create something.
Yeah, but look at these positions that the scouts can take up, Grumpy. They're already meeting him in the sky. They just take one solitary jump towards him, and he's already high-fiving the enemy roamer. So it's a tough time to be a roamer at this point of the map.
It's you think they'd have a little bit of better time with all the entrances, but it's just so easy to defend if you're this far forward. You mentioned the disad on second. I feel like that is a thing when you're really playing quite passive, but when you're forward, there's shutters and there's doors and there's angles. Like Elicor's got a nice trap on that shutter to deny anyone coming through there. They've got a good angle on this house to spam people out of the valley if they come in a bit too aggressive. And like they've trapped Lucas with spam right now, so no matter which way he went, he would have got spam there. But the rest of the bin just flow through this valley area, and they're going on to Ombrak. Ombrak nearly goes down, really low health. Nice hold from him. Good trigger discipline still. Not popping off that Uber, trusting his teammates, and Elicor with a nice pipe saves him. And 2 players down, 1 down for Ascent. They want to take this forward. They may do some sort of exchange as Ascent go in, but Degu not popped. Staying very much far forward. Yellen separating Elicor and Ombrak out. But yeah, just everything fizzled. That looked like that could have been a good opportunity for the bin to actually collapse. But there was no one with Yellen and Degu there.
Yeah, so things will reset a little bit. I think you'll see the same sort of play coming out from the bin black, where they'll try and push the flank out from this this right hand side, and there we go. They overwhelm Medico on this right hand side, and this gives them so many options here. They get 3 ground, they get that 3 high ground I was talking about as well, because you just naturally want to stay back in there. And look at it, it's just so easy for them, Grumpy. They just overwhelm that right hand side. It's only one soldier that can do that because it's such a massive map. It's really hard to hold on to every single point of that second point, and you get given 3 high ground.
Yeah, really good push into last from them, but they may have noticed the mistake they've just done.
What a player.
Which is... Oh, was it callback in the background?
Yeah, he's delayed that second point for them, and they pushed so far ahead. They were kind of putting on their Froyo-Tech hat for a moment there, Grumpy, where they were already pushing last point before they capped that second point, and Callback took advantage of this. It was kind of the game-winning, well, maybe not game-winning, but the round-saving play there from that Frenchman. Yeah,
we've seen pushes on both teams last during this round already, and Gink in the background having a fight with Medico. He may be a bit overextended as he's going behind for the back. All callback, Medico on him. Players, Ombrak and Elicor get picked up by Lucas and Yellen though. Like, that's a really good pick from them. And it just means that they can push in. Whose last is this? Oh, sorry, this is Ascent's last. Players were in weird positions there as Lucas was so far forward.
Oh my God.
They managed to pick up those players. What is going on, Turbo? Where is everyone? Why are they doing this?
Well, Gink went behind to backcap. Everyone was in full fletched panic mode on Ascent, so they brought as many people back as possible. Elicor and Ombrak didn't get this memo, so they got munched by the rest of the bin black, and whilst they were trying to play MGE over on last, Gink was playing 4D chess. He was just packed out and just kept the chase on and was like the boogeyman in the room, kind of threatening this backcap at an entire point. But then the bin black tried to enter the last point, all from this one entrance. It made it so easy for the scouts to just melt them. And now things have reset back onto second. It's just both of these teams are losing their heads a little bit.
Yeah, it is a very crazy map as Medico and Callback actually went up on the high ground, but ends up dying to Chris. But yeah, they actually managed to pick up Elicor during the chaos, and it just meant that they could stay in a little longer until he's respawned. So he's now on their last hold for Ascent, but the bin black looking poised maybe to do something. Ubers are equal though, so they may be looking to send Gink in. Gink's taking a nice buff on the left hand side, so maybe he's looking to see if he can go in. He's cleared the sticks. He goes in, he gets help from Hem, but Hem goes down straight away. Gink's still in the air. Nice surf from Ombrak, keeping himself alive, goes to the resub, but Gink gets cleared up, and 2 players down for the bin black means Sed can push forward, Turbo.
Yeah, it's a shame that Ben Black didn't kind of do a bit of reconnaissance there. Had a quick peek around the corner, see where everyone was, because you saw the aggression all flooding to that usual Shakan side, Grumpy. But they weren't there. They were holding the other side. They were holding that the little battlements area, and they still continue to hold that door closely. Look how close Carlback is holding to that chokeway.
Yeah, he gets the nice early force, and the exchange does happen, and there's going to be a lot of flashing for the Ben Black, but players are in on the backhand side. Hems and Yellen went behind and got a lot of time on the point, and we could see a repush coming out of the rest of the Ben Black here, as there's only 3 players left for Ascent. They have got respawners on 10 seconds left until they're back in. Gink looking to create some pressure as well. They're just pushing people away from the point, but oh, Gink goes down. No, this is too long. They need to back out now.
Man, Grumpy, do you ever remember watching that old game show on UK TV? It's called Gladiator. You know that that old chestnut? Well, I want you to imagine that point is that stage on Gladiator where they've got those 2 little duffel sort of things, and they're trying to knock each other off, and that's just the Ben Black and Ascent. They're just like trying to knock each other off at this goddamn point, and
that's perfect.
And
that's
they're just having such they're just having such a hard time to knock each other off. It isn't about trying to kill one another. You just have to push them off the point, and they're just having such a hard time for both of these teams, and it's kind of a risky do you, don't they sort of play, as they do throw in 2 soldiers now straight on top of the core of Ascent, and they'll feel a bit of bruising, and they won't really feel anything past that though. They just kind of go back to the resupply. Ombrak will get his heals, everybody else will just man up and get heals from Ombrak the old fashioned way, and it's back to the drawing board for the Ben Black.
I can't get over that. That's such a good analogy. Anyway, the Yellen looking to go very far forward, actually takes a ton of damage. Now we've seen that Lucas actually trapped up the shutter. He's managed to get Ombrak and Elikor like 2 or 3 times with that. But one thing I just want to ask is where are the banners? Where are the toots? Where's the sort of thing we see 7 and some we've seen Swift do it as well, but Gink goes down to Neo Sniper. Yellen going down as well. That's 2 players down again for the Ben Black. They need to back out. Lucas looking like he wants to set up that trap once again to try and pick up players, but Opti very aware of it. Chris going down to another shot from Neo. A lot of work from him. Korvac clearing those sticks. Gives space for Opti to go in and start dealing a lot of damage to Degu. Degu has to force.
Oh my god, it's the Uber Sniper! Everybody run! Run! The Uber Sniper's coming out! And Neo, oh, he does get a sightline onto Degu for a moment there, but just too hard of a game of Duck Hunt for Neo, as he's going to take another crack at it over on this long sightline to the right, and we'll get a body shot onto Chris, but it doesn't go down for his efforts, as they're still making this slow push happen, Grumpy, and nice.
Gink went in with a nice bomb onto Ombrak. Didn't manage to finish it off, but it just means that the Ben Black have got a little bit of time to spend. But they lost all of their soldiers, so they've got no spam, and Elikor knows it. He wants to stay really far forward whilst the rest of his teams are backing out. But they might be able to get this. Yeah, they're looking like they're gonna be poised to take this mid for free. Hopefully they don't lose any players. Lucas looks like he might be watching. No, there's no traps up for him. Yellen coming in, trying to do that punishment I mentioned before onto Ombrak, but not able to do so. Lucas comes in with Chris, and the Uber is out for Degu, and the exchange has happened again for Ascent and the Ben Black, but Degu, much later, gets bombed on by Medico, but manages to surf and dodge a lot of that damage. Medico going down, and it's kind of really awkward mid-fight right now as Opti goes down as well, and Ben Black kind of win it. Yeah, Neo gonna go down as well.
Oh my.
Yeah, so many players from the Ben Black just ploughing forward through this left side valley area. Ascent are on their last. They're going to just set up a trap on the shutter and just give the second away. So they lost mid and second during that, Ombrak. Turbo. I was looking at Ombrak and said, ignore me.
It's okay, I'm actually Kratos, but...
oh yeah.
But God, it was just a car crash of an Uber, because Ombrak used the majority of his Uber to keep Neo alive during all of that fight, and you got to keep in mind, for every sort of heal that's poured into your sniper at this close range, it's not poured into another combat class, and it does make me wonder that if he kind of just let his sniper die and just relied on his other classes, I think they might have survived a bit better there. The Ubers will be exchanged now, as I am elaborating on as their last couple of mistakes there will get out scot-free over on the Bin Black. And yeah, it's time to rebuild and reform Grumpy. Stronger, better, faster.
Here's to hoping, but just this awkward battle around this left-hand side always seems to happen. But Chris goes in for a nice little back cap, puts some time on the point, which means that Ascent really don't want to push forward on that because they've already got Gink behind before. Like, Hems is in a good position to do it as well, so they're just going to wait it out. And this means that Daegu can kind of just chill and build as well as Ombrak. They're trying to maybe see if they can force Neo into a good position. He's holding in the towards Shutter, though, so maybe looking to see if anyone pops their head up and take it as a trophy for himself. But Uber is up for Ombrak, going to be for Daegu as well. Maybe looking for some early force. Gink actually going down to Neo. Like I mentioned before, Lucas ready to stop players coming in on this left-hand side, just setting up traps, but Yellen goes down to Medico, and Ascent are just poised to come in, and Neo goes in on the sniper on his own.
Very nice force coming out from Callback there. He kind of snuck his way into the inside base and compromised Daegu's poor positioning, and will be forced to use his Uber because of it, Grumpy.
Yeah, and that just means that Ascent can come into second turbo. And I think that's really what they need, is they need the confidence to kind of break this stalemate that's going on. Yellen tries to get onto Ombrak, but just ends up getting caught in the air by Opti and Elikor. And they're going to be all set to go into on this right-hand side, but maybe they can use this Uber to get mid, but they just have to be careful because they might concede it post-Uber fight. But they're looking to go into this left side. I think, yeah, exactly. Ombrak wants to use it in. Elikor goes in very deep, but Medico actually goes down. And they haven't picked any Bin Black players. As I say that, Hems goes down, Gink goes down, Yellen goes down, but Callback gets picked up by Lucas. And the repush coming out of the Bin Black. Elikor not in a good position, really. He needs to back out with the rest of his team. Luckily, he manages to do so. And like I said, the post-Uber fight wasn't great for Ascent, and the Bin Black keep their midpoint.
Yeah, I don't think there was really a win state for Ascent there because they lost so many players. I think if they popped the Uber just a little later in that fight, they kind of got the advantage over the Bin Black by surprising them from where they were pushing from. You could see the surprise from the Bin Black earlier, but they just popped the Uber. It was one of those Ubers that you do in TF2 where you just trying to tell your teammates, I want you to go aggressive now, and then suddenly you're just shiny and blue and you're like, okay, I'll try and make the most big boy jump I can ever do, but sometimes you can overshoot that sort of big boy jump, Grumpy, and that's what happened to Medico. He went in too aggressive because of that Uber and ended up overextending and dying. So they will go in with the fight now. They've got an Uber charge to actually kind of catch the safety net of a fight, and God, they're really trying to find Callback, but Callback's giving them the slip. Oh, it's a good thing Ombrak can't find him either, as he will go down to the roller of Lucas, and they've got Opti.
Oh, how did Lucas survive that?
Oh, Medico, he's a man's man, he's holding the door on his own, he's getting crossbows. Where is the rest of the Bin Black? There's like 3 other doors they can push from, but they're not daring, they're too scared of the French now.
What? How did they not... Chris did such an amazing play going in on the right hand side and forced Ombrak so early. That's why, like, there was 50% Uber used before the Bin Black even had to use their Uber. So if they were able just to win the post-Uber fight with a little bit of their own Uber as advantage, they would have been able to pick players up. But good work from Callback to waste as much time as possible against the Bin Black. And, like, Lucas managed to get out by the skin of his teeth, but Medico picked him up. And the Bin Black looking like they want to make something again. Both teams have Ubers. Maybe Chris wants to go in again and force Ombrak, but Ombrak's repositioned on the left-hand side from the perspective of the Bin Black, and it's just not... I still don't get why I'm not seeing any banners. Like, this map favours that. Lucas going down to Neo, that's going to cause the entire Bin Black to back out, Turbo, and They're going to be able to push through this shot relatively unheeded. Neo picking up Hemster. Elikor going down though, so that's the demo down, and the rest of the Bin Black want to take that on the right hand side, but they haven't forced Ombrak to use his Uber. So the rest of Ascent are going to push people in that little stairs area. They pick up Gink. Yelen's still staying very far forward, taking a lot of damage, but Bin Black need to back out. They're just not in a good position. Ombrak has that 100% Uber. Chris is below. He hasn't been spotted, and he's going for the back cap right now, but Medico just there with the 1v1 against him. Can Chris hold this? Medico manages to pick it up, and the Uber has popped out from Ombrak on the second point. So much happening on this last area. Lucas coming down, and players for the Bin Black getting out the left-hand side from their perspective, and we're going to see things kind of chill out for a moment. Just chill, okay?
Yeah, it looks like...
Ascent aren't listening to me. As Medico goes in on Degu, trying to get him down, gets cleaned up, and the rest of Ascent use that as an opportunity to go in. They pick up Yelen, but trade Elikor in the process.
It's really hard, Grumpy, because they know that they were down on the Uber advantage, and this is a really hard second point to hold. Again, you get free high ground when you enter in, and you can't really hold from an arm's length on this map, it feels like. So they went for the gamble play. They went to see if they could just get more picks or just flat out make a push from that. They will Uber in now. They've got on top of Onti. There's so many players dedicated to him, and there we go. Everyone's flooding that Gladiator gate. Oh, are they? They actually managed to kite around them. It's good. It's like a tactical retreat, and they get back onto it. They finally won this gauntlet of a Gladiator match, and although it was a bit of an outnumbered play, not the honourable one we've won. Either way, it will be the first round for the Bin Black.
First round in 22 minutes.
My.
But I think that's kind of the problem with Cardinal, is there's so much space to do a lot of things that a lot of teams don't have a huge focus on what they're doing. But during this mid-fight, Lucas a lot more aggressive than Elikor and dealing a lot of damage onto him, but may get punished by Callback. The surfs away really nicely. Callback being the first one to go down to Chris, and the rest of the Bin Black want to take this one-player advantage, crunch on those players that are leaving through left, and they get Elikor. Gink coming around the backside, gets Neo and Ombrak. So well done from him. And this is just going to be a bit of a roll forward to second for the Bin Black. Medico trying to get out, super low health for him. Chris nearly secured that kill. They get the mid and they get second as well with Uberad. Turbo.
Yeah, this is looking pretty bleak for them now. I think they might even get another sort of second cushion round to solidify their lead as they're pushing in now, and they're not even forced off early. They will pop very late into this, clean up the sentry gun relatively quickly. They've already got some nice well, I said they had some nice post-Uber positions until I kind of wondered where the rest of the Bin Black was during these entire pushes, and they just didn't have the follow-up to clean up any of these members of Ascent here, Grumpy.
Yeah, they end up wiping, even though they managed to pick up Ombrak. Yeah, it was just like they had everything in their advantage. They managed to pick up the sentry nice and quick. There wasn't a Putis to stop them, but they ended up just getting punished by their bad positioning on that last push. And Yelen going really far forward onto Medico, manages to pick him up, takes a lot of damage but gets the pack. The rest of the Bin Black trying to support their teammate, throwing the ball out. And Gink going in on a nice bomb onto Elikor, not really focusing on Ombrak, and ends up getting picked up. Callback down as well, didn't see what happened there, but Yelen getting pressured by Neo, manages to pick up Neo with some support from Degu, and these second fights are so messy for both teams, and it seems like the Bin Black are always coming out on top during these exchanges.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of the map facilitating the Bin Black there. Ascent almost outplayed them as Gink kind of really fluffed up his jump, but the positions kind of held true. Yelen connected his rockets and it did a good job of kind of pushing them out. They will push them back on their point, but I really wish they start fighting over on that point, Grumpy. Again, back to the Gladiator meme. They need to just kind of knock them off the little point and then claim the ground.
Gink! Everyone walked past Gink.
Oh no,
Gink's on his own last.
It's MG simulator.
Oh no, that was so.
Gap. He needs to do like a what do you call one of those really fancy rocket jumps where you go really far?
Jump?
No. You need to. It's one of those.
Speed shot.
It's one of those ones where you have to press control at a certain time, like
C-tap.
C-tap. He needs one of those big, fat C-taps if he wants to get to that point from where Callback was, and it's a bit demanding in a high-stress scenario for that to kind of fold out there, so it didn't work out. They will go back to another mid, and it's looking pretty good for the Bin Black, Grumpy.
Yeah, it is, and with only 5 minutes left and current pace of the game, it's going to be really awkward for Ascent, but they managed to pick up Yellow Lucas. Chris, this is a mid-fight that looks very much in favour of Ascent. Little fight with Degu. Opti got really low there, he nearly won the fight there. Only Gink left in the backgrounds, trying to see if he can create something, but Neo, Medico just watching that. Callback trying to come back to see if they can... you know, just pick up Gink, not have him as a problem in the background. But he's having a little MGE, wins the MGE with Medico, and even though they managed to get second, Gink is still behind, and Ombrak is in danger as Ombrak and Elikor are ready to go down this lower area. They have got the Uber ad, but they're a little spread out. They don't have to use their Uber straight in, and they need to focus that gun as soon as they find out where it is. They've Ubered in, they focused down the gun really nicely, and they're trying to do the Gladiator play, but they end up backing out. All the players are back for the Bin Black. Chris on the Putis, Callback, Ombrak, everyone. 4 players down for Ascent. Really, really bad positioning from them. Punished by the Bin Black, and it's going pretty well for Bin Black right now. They're going to push out, maybe get second off this. And a little unfortunate for Ascent on that last push.
Yeah, there was a little spread thin, as you had some members of Ascent kind of looking back at Gink, trying to deal with him. I mean, not only did he get the kill onto Medico, which delayed things even more, he also drew Callback's attention. And you're entering a fight 4v6 at that point, Grumpy. And I know you've got the overcharge, but you've got a nice save haven on your last point that makes it so you can definitely delay that overcharge. And there we go, that's what happened. They are pushing in onto mid now over on the Bin Black with their own overcharge, and Ascend will back off, give them the good grace of the mid, because they've got nothing really to fight them with, unless Medico keeps causing more problems on this backline.
Yeah, I think both teams aren't able to deal with those players. Yellen gets skybox. Oh, what a pipe from Elikor. Oof. That was really good. And they're going to take the Uber out of this, and they push...
Jesus.
They push forward. So many players. Lucas picking up callback on that, but Lucas ends up going down during the trade, and Ascent back on this second. Got that high ground again, like you've mentioned, that just gives the attackers so much advantage, and they're looking to try and build this up and get into that second. Maybe with callback coming back, we might see this this player I keep talking about, which is the banners. I really want to see one of these teams, you know, either go for the exchange, but they're kind of impatient. They look like they want to go on this left side, or at least send in Medico and Opti, and that's what they're going to do. Medico jumping over the point, not spotted the sentry. The sentry is only just being built, so that's not going to be a problem. Manages to get Degu. What a shot from Medico. And this means that Ascent can go in really nicely. Lucas spamming them, causing them to force early, but now it's into the post-Uber fight, and Ascent just need to be focused. They need to call the men that they need to kill, and they just need to make things into advantage. Ascent, get some time on that point.
The point, Ascent! For the love of God, just go on the point! You're fighting everywhere except the point! Finally, Opti will hear my cries. There we go. They just want blood, don't they, Grumpy?
They just wanted to wipe them before getting the point. They wanted to do, like, maybe they wanted to scare them so they could just win the mid and go forward and take it in advantage. But one thing I just want to mention every time I cast Cardinal, I want to mention this: the red team have an advantage with the rollout over the blue team in regards to where they spawn. The red team spawn closer to the right door than the blue team, so it actually makes things harder for them. But during this mid fight, very slow. Both Elikor was actually a bit further forward during the start of it. He manages to pick up Gink, but Medico down, so both the soldiers down for Ascent. Yellen gets picked up in the end by Opti, and it's just a bit of a slugfest right now. Chris taking a lot of damage. We got Hemster trying to take it out on Ombrak. Is that a crit?
Yeah, that's a crit, baby. They didn't see it coming. They went into them, and they just got crit down. And it was just a tale of two blobs there, Grumpy, as both teams kind of went on the defensive but sent both the soldiers. Both the soldiers both died, and then it was blob versus blob. But the other blob just played a little bit more defensive, knowing that they had that crit bailout. get out a free jail card, and it worked out. And the crits is really good at these points of the game because it dictates the pace of the game, and they needed to keep going fast. They can't really stalemate or slog this out, and the crits stops that sort of play. So they've got
20 seconds left on the point.
They've got one more crits in the bag here, but they should be expecting it over on the bin black. And oh my god, Yellen, what is that throw? I don't believe it. So he just kills himself out of a random jump. They've got Chris on the pyro. Why not the heavy weapons guy? I guess maybe to deal with the Chris, but now they're actually deciding to fight on the point, and because they're fighting on the point, it's bringing out, oh my god, the clutch! Uber from Daegu! They keep alive and block it long enough to make sure that they create this stalemate scenario for them, and they've got the Uber. I think he might even got a slice there, Grumpy.
Oh wow, that was incredible. That was so close, really good pace out of Ascent, and it was all or nothing for the bin black there to keep those 3 needed points on the board for them, and they're going to be going into the next map, I think, very confidently. Now, alongside that, it was interesting. I think having Chris on the bin black isn't that bad of a swap from Groove. Like, Chris did a lot of work during that, and I hope the logs kind of state that, as we will hopefully have a look at that right now.
Jesus, boy, look at that Neo kid. He is doing well. I'm pretty sure when I watched The Matrix, Neo was dodging the bullets, not dishing out the bullets, Grumpy.
I don't know. There is that scene when they were on, walking up the elevator scene and everything with the two Scorpion pistols. He was dishing out some bullets there, as Neo was here, and that makes a lot of sense to me, because Neo was just everywhere he needed to be, and especially when he got on that sniper, he did pop off a few times, so we could see the 6 headshots on him there. So alongside that, no other, I thought Elikor would have a lot more impact in that game than he did, but I guess I guess that's the nature of the map as well. Though I don't think it's as demo friendly as, let's say, Gully or Snakewater, for example. So, or even Process, and I wouldn't even consider Process to be a demo centric map.
I think it's just how comfortable they are on the map. I think because these players aren't used to playing on this map, they don't know where that invisible line is of oh, this is overextending, or this is not overextending, or this is underextending. So they just kind of haven't found that sort of fine-tune, because so many times, Grumpy, have we seen where teams had an advantage, and then they went too far, died, and the rest of the team have to pick up the pieces. And Elikor's a big name for them when it comes to being the first one through the door. He's usually jumping in, taking these Ubers, and he would die in these sort of peculiar spots because he really wants the aggression to happen, and I guess Cardinal doesn't really facilitate those sort of plays, at least not that he can abuse yet. I don't think he has found that invisible line.
But even though Neo did extremely well, because they were on last so long and had so many sack plays from the bin black, failed pushes, that would have buffed some of their stats. Not to discredit Neo, but I think that's one thing that affected them quite highly, is they had a lot of bin black players kind of just sacking on them. Not sure, that last point is so weird to push, and a lot of teams kind of like we saw, forget the point even exists. Yeah,
there was a lot of backcat play as well. So any sort of kills Neo would have gone on the second point pushing in, they would have been drawn back by just one measly soldier, bringing back all these names and players. So it was just 2 different sort of states of mind, I guess, for both of these teams. While the bin black wanted to get a bit more cutesy, and God, look at the kill difference. Yeah, there was just this. Goes further into my point, Grumpy. They were just so kill hungry on Ascent.EU. There was one point where they clearly could have just got the point and actually finished oh my god, if they finished the round a bit earlier on that point, they would have had more time for last. Oh my god, it's all biting them in the ass now, Grumpy.
They would have actually, they could have taken it very easily. But Oh, sorry. I thought the game was going to start. I was going to do it is. It is
starting.
No, but we've got the second map, Product. Messy, fun map. Always kind of a curveball during whenever this comes on. It's always a bit. Never mind. I was wrong. Config, more than likely.
I think it was because callback wasn't here. I think he was away from computer, but they're going now for real.
Yeah, now they're going. But like I said earlier, product, we're going to see some messiness, some fun. Chris was on Spy. I think he was just checking to see what Ascent were bringing to the table. And Elikor, very far over the point, tries to stick on to Lucas. Doesn't manage to get too much damage. But Medico and Korvac in the back lines just trying to pick up players, as well as Gink and Chris. But Lucas goes down as well. So many players down for the Bin Black. Ascent still together, but they managed to lose Ombrak. They managed to wipe on the first mid, but it's like it wasn't too great. They don't have their meds, so they can't hold too confidently. So I think it's all about this next sort of almost restart of a mid fight to see what happens. But just trying to see what we're seeing. We're seeing a bit of a cliff push coming out of the Bin Black, whilst players are coming on the on the right hand side. Ooh, was that a nice little trap from Elikor?
Yeah, that was a nice trap now. So that's already evened out this fight. And it's already got so much pressure onto Dago already. They don't want to take this fight on the Bin Black. They're already posturing that they want to get out of this. Dago does kind of munch on a health pack, but makes me wonder if they still want to make this play, as everyone is in a very nice position from Ascent as well. They actually throw in Medico to see if he can kind of ruffle some feathers. Does get taken out, but it was kind of synced up at the same time while the Bin Black's flank was making their plays as well. So nobody really wins out, and when nobody wins, Ascent wins because they've got the point.
Yeah, and alongside that, they managed to keep Korvac, and they didn't lose both their soldiers, so they've got that easy spam presence from Korvac still up. Gink's just come back in. He's playing on the grass area, looking to like he wants to bomb in onto Ombrak, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He gets the nice force onto him, but they manage to keep their players alive, pick up some other players, and now the counter-sack goes in from Korvac, forces Degu really nicely. Going to give up that point, but they've got a lot of time on it, and they may go for a post-Uber fight, which is exactly what they're going to do, and they've pressured so many players. Degu picking up Korvac, though, with the arrow, keeping himself alive. Medico and Gink having a bit of a fight on near China on that cliff area, and all these players just kind of exchanging. No one died though, so again, nobody wins. It's still all in favour of Ascent right now.
Oh, Gink goes down though, and they still haven't capped any time during all of this, and it feels like one of the longest sort of stalemate holds, and this is really a testament to Ascent as well. Keep in mind, they've got the sort of winner's disadvantage where their spawns are kind of a bit harder on them, and they will push them out now, but that's because they've got the Uber charge. They're a little bit scared over on the side of the Bin Black, and they will back off, and God, after all that, they only gained like a couple of seconds there, Grumpy.
But what it does mean for Ascent is they're able to actually set up a nice little forward hold, and they're going to have to try and break this as Gink goes on. Yellen goes onto Ombrak, gets the nice force. Neo going down to Chris. The exchange has happened, and is still an advantage for Ascent if they can pick up the players. But Medico's super low. The head just turns around and goes, "I'll have that free kill, thank you." And Korvac shooting people in Death Pit, just trying to stop them from coming in. Does a lot of work there, and Degu's super low, but the rest of the Bin Black are nice and healthy and moving forward, taking control of this point. And it's like Ascent need to start pushing over the top, but they don't need to. They've got 2 minutes 10 sort of advantage, so they're not too pressured. They can just chill out, and that's exactly what they're going to do on Cliff.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for them now, because if Ascent play this right, they can just play in a way that forces a lot of these sort of skirmishes or sort of trading, and any sort of trade is good in Ascent's book right now. So if they can just get some bodies on the board, whether it's their own or the others, as long as they keep matching them, they should win out it. Elikor does take a meaty trap, and he will take a follow-up surgical sticky from Lucas as well, and that's what they needed over on the Bin Black here if they wanted to keep this lead ahead of them.
Yeah, and it just means that Ascent need to maybe sack in a player. They're looking to maybe see what they can do with Medico. He's gone a bit forward. He's trying to jump behind with Korvac as well. They're all onto Degu, trying to get that force. Degu ends up getting forced in the end, which is really nice play. They do lose both of their soldiers, but they are not in control of the point, so they'll be back nice and early, and it means that they've got this full Uber ad turbo.
This is an expensive play though, and not so much in the Uber or players, but on time here. It's a kind of a time waster where you have to wait for all your players to respawn. They will all push out from this right hand side, and God, nice spam coming out from the bin black there. Just not really deterring the push, but kind of making
slowing
it not
down.
yeah, just slowing them down just a little bit here and there, and making them a little bit worried. And you can see Ascent is nibbling at the ankles of Ombrak. Please heal me, Ombrak, please heal me. And he will finally get some heals, and because of that, they haven't really done anything with this Uber charge. They've just kind of kited them all the way back to their own side of the map, and they even pushed back with their own counter. Oh, actually, overextension from the bin black here, as they're now going to be nibbling on the ankles of the bin black who are left over. Callback even gets the health back as well. What a cruel fate. Good thing Dagu's got the safety net of his Ubers kind of, but they need to make work happen with this Uber charge. Lucas will get Elikor, that's one. They want to back out, bit greedy, and they're going to get chased here. Remember, trades are good for Ascent right now. The cavalry has arrived, but the cavalry comes back just as quick for Ascent. They're still pushing in, Grumpy. They are blobbing up. Why are they not going into the core? They get a free Chris kill. They can just take the fight here. What are you pussyfooting around, Ascent? Oh, I don't like it.
I think they're just trying to get a punishment onto the bin black, and Medico gets chased down by Hems, ends up going down, and they're a player down during this exchange. They pick up Hems, but the Uber comes out and they try and go onto Dagu, and they manage to get him. This is exactly what they were trying to do. Wait back for Uber, see if they can pick up players. Now it's all about this post-Uber fight, as they've got time on the point. They've got 20 seconds to make it, and Chris, doing so much work, ends up getting picked up by Neo. Lucas going down, and that is the first round of product going to Ascent.EU. Such a close game near the end. It looked so much in favour of the Ascent.EU, but the bin black kind of took it back near the end.
Yeah, it was a little worrisome. I think they just backed off there because they really wanted to rely on Ombrak's Uber advantage, and I can see in these high tense official situations you do want to kind of go back relaxed on the Uber charge advantage 9 times out of 10, so they will take that fight instead, and they need to deal with these soldiers that get behind. This is the reason they lost the mid last time, was these 2 Ascent soldiers getting behind, and there we go, it happens again. Their attention is just divided way too much, and they get manhandled by not only the scouts but the soldiers coming in from behind as well. They will kind of turn this into sort of a MGE DM server where everyone's just split off and fighting their own 1v1s now, but ooh.
Elikor going in big, lands a nice direct onto Dagu, but doesn't get the follow-up. That was a crazy bomb from him. If he landed that, that would have been insane. Bit of a power play from him.
Yeah, with Dagu keeping himself alive, they've got that Uber charge advantage in their back pocket, and now it's their sort of mid to hold and dictate over Ascent now, and it's always a nice feeling. When you start off a round solidly like this, it's in the map Light Viaduct. They're going to send in the soldiers now, even throwing Elikor. This looks like a suicide wave to me, and it is. They do get the Uber charge off as planned, and they've got Ombrak back there in the spawn, just kind of building things with his pocket scout.
Yeah, they just sacked everyone in. That was like not a bad sack wave. They only had to do it once. Sometimes I can see teams like trying to have to do it like 2 or 3 times.
Ugh.
And it just gets really, it gets really awkward. But there's a lot of spam going on to them, and Ombrak drops 2 players. Such good spam from Ginkin at Yellen just means that Ascent are Ubering in on such a bad Uber. They just don't have the players or the spam to do anything. Opti and Neo, all they can do is kind of yell at them with their scatterguns, but nothing else. And they're just going to have to try and get another force or sack play, and Medico looks like he's the man to do it.
Yeah, they've got 2 choices here, Grumpy. They either take the fight to them now before they get the Uber charge and hopefully get a win out of the fight and kill Dagu before that happens, but as I say that, Dagu has his Uber now, and they're instead going to just go for another suicide wave and just kind of play it a bit more patiently. And they will take out Medico first and call back. Where is the other guy? Where's the demo man, the black man? There we go. He actually gets taken out. He never jumped. He didn't want to go for the suicide wave. They wanted to go for more of a traditional push, but what did they expect to happen? They had an Uber charge. They would have felt confident taking that fight.
Yep, and so many bin back players are so far forward right now, and it's just pretty awkward for Ascent. It's a completely different round to the round before. Bin Black seems so much in control, and Korvac actually coming out on that pyro, seeing if he can do anything, gets cleaned up by Chris so quickly, and the Uber exchange has happened, and it's just so awkward for Ascent having to Uber out for a forward hold, and it just means that they again get forced back into their spawn. Sack wave coming out on mid, maybe? No, it's all or nothing for Ascent, and they're getting punished for it once again, but they lose 3 players. They lose Elikor, only Yellen and Gink down. Chris staying alive in the background, manages to help pick up callback. 9 kill streak for Chris. He's going ham during this game, and again, Ascent just not able to really break anything out of these holds. And there's only 10 seconds left, and they haven't even got a licking on the point, Turbo.
Yeah, very well played by Chris. Not only did he just connect the shots, but he made some very correct plays, connect the brain, as he had a chance at Ombrak's sort of life there, but decides, no, I'm not going to go for the medic. The big picture of it is I need to help out my team, take out all the combat classes, because I know this medic is irrelevant at this point. Very nicely thought out by Chris, and very nicely followed up by Chris as well.
Yeah, and because of that, they take the round, making it 1-1. And during this start of this mid-fight, again, Elikor very far forward. Just, we're going to see the starts of the bombs coming in, and it looks like Gink tried to go forwards, didn't manage to get anything. Medico went forwards onto Yellen. So many players down. Neo and Medico going down for Ascent, with Callback joining them. Only 3 players left versus the 5 of the Bin Black. They're gonna have to back out, and that's exactly what they're doing. Elikor just trying to throw pipes out, just land those air pipes that he's known for. Doesn't manage to do anything. Chris gets the clean up, and that's the second mid going to, well, the second mid in favour of the Bin Black.
Kind of looked like Ascent were frozen in shock there to me, Grumpy. You saw Elikor and Neo not budging an inch. They just kind of sat back and hoped that the magic of their flank would have just came through without their help, but I feel like they could have pushed forward there. Either way, they will be punished for it now. They force out this Uber from Daegu here, just jumping from the doors. Bit unexpected. Usually they've got a tighter grip on these doorways. Maybe we're expecting just a regular push out from Ascent as per usual, but it's a nice little mix up coming out from Ascent.EU. They've got the overcharge now, and they just need to pick a door, any door, and they can start barreling through. And maybe if they pick the right one and get off quick enough, they can get this kill onto Daegu.
They've gone in, they managed to get Hems and Yellen and Gink, so this is a good Uber, and good push, and they haven't had to use that Uber. Elikor going very far forward, spamming Lucas, trying to just get him back. Once he's out of the picture... Chris. Oh, Chris. Did Chris go for a play onto Ombrak?
He just ran straight to Ombrak and got the force out onto him.
Ooh.
3 clean shots while everyone was distracted.
Oh, well, that's really good decision making from him. And Elikor very far forward, taking some damage from Lucas. Lucas has been doing really well to kind of respond to everything Elikor's been trying to do. So shout outs to Lucas for that. And Gink went in, and Yellen, callback picking up Gink. Yellen behind, manages to pick up Medico. Lucas going down to Opti.
Oh my god, Yellen, the disrespect! Get out of here, son!
The Bin Black just seems so in control right now compared to Ascent. They just seem to just be winning the 1v1s where they need. Chris has just been doing a lot of work for them as well. Not to discredit the work Neo's been putting in for his team as well. Both these scouts just putting in a lot of work.
Yellen gets the kill onto Umbrak as well now, and they just need to blow up play near Daegu, because he's going to feel a lot of hate right now, and it's up to them. And look at Daegu, he's doing a wonderful job of dodging all of this as well. Surfs away from Medico. Daegu, if I could... Nice lad.
Well, like I mentioned at the start before we actually got into the games, Yellen is just so good at punishing players, and that's exactly what he did on Ombrak. He just punished him where he needed to, and especially that 1v1 against Callback was just a bit awkward for Callback at that point when he got that air shot. But Opti actually going down to Lucas's trap, and the Bin Black looking to hold this quite nicely. Elikor decides to go in for the force, and he manages to get it. It gets cleaned up by Chris in the end, but Callback and Medico are working together. They pick up Hams, but Callback ends up going down to Yellen. Nice 2k for him. And again, he just punishes them for their overextension, and the Bin Black are ready to set up to hold this once again.
This is a scary push out for them though. 30 seconds. There can't be any mistakes at this point, Grumpy. Anybody you've been dropping, anybody that's been dying, you need to stop that right now, because this is the moment for you to make your comeback here, and it's all eyes on Ascent as they're just kind of... Nobody dares makes the first step forward, it looks like. And they've got an Uber charge. They will make their first step, an Ubered one, as they launch Elakor in. He's trying to take out Dago, and he will take him out as well. And everyone actually lives to tell the tale. They're trying to get the kill onto Umbrak. Umbrak will eat a fat rocket, and while everyone's trying to protect Umbrak, everyone's eating scout fire from the backside. And as the dust settles, Ascent will win out on this mid, but will they win out on the round?
Well, they are going to be in an awkward situation with their spawners just taking so much time to come back, and Korvac and Medico have got a lot of work to do as Lucas just wants to go really far forward. Korvac onto everyone with Medico joining. They get Degu, so that's exactly the man they wanted to get. And Umbrak, no.
Not massive.
Never mind, yeah, not massive, as they managed to lose Umbrak, which means that everything's kind of laid back. As you say, the dust settles to a very equal situation. But then, again, Degu's already up. Umbrak isn't. They've got heals to push forwards onto this point. They only have 5 seconds left of the round, Turbo.
Yeah, they're playing TF2 on hard mode right now. They've done it once. Can they do it again though? Because every time the setting just gets harder and harder. They will cap off the point. They need to get on top of the point right now, and that point cannot go all the way blue. If it goes all the way blue, then this game is over. Nobody is standing on the point, Elakor. Oh, he pulls off a herpy.
Oh, bless him. He was just, I could see, I was watching his point of view at that moment, and I could just see that he was so focused on getting that damage out that he just wasn't too sure on his positioning. But during this fourth mid, again, Elakor just so far forward, but Lucas with a lot more health, able to deal a lot of damage onto Ascent players as the bombs come out from both teams. Korvac going down to Chris. Yellen and Gink onto Umbrak. What a good bomb from them. And the Bin just need to win this post-fight.
Oh,
never mind! As Ascent, Neo and Opti just start scattering people left, right and centre with the support of Elakor. And that's...
Alright, see boys and girls, this is why the medic is overrated on these mids. Everyone dedicates so many lives or sort of assets to their team to take out the medic, and unless you've got a lot of people on your squad ready to protect your own medic, it's usually you've traded a lot of players to get that medic, and Dagu's been punished for it now because he got the longer respawn, even though that they had the loser's advantage with the respawn.
Yep, and Korvac's in the background, tries to go onto Degu. What a surf from Degu though, as he surfs 2 players to get away into main, and they do lose Korvac and Medico as a result. Gink in the backlines just means that there's a bit of a distraction on Ascent, and Yellen wants to abuse that as they go in, and Gink gets Umbrak, Elakor, Opti, so many players down for Ascent during that push across the point from the Bin Black, and they're going to get this forward hold that seems to really put a spanner in the works for Ascent.
Yeah, blobbing up a little too hard over on Ascent there, and took a massive brunt of Yellen damage, as they will kind of crawl around this corner now, seeing if they can get some aggression on top of Dagu. But Dagu, he's just Superman, he just whizzes away, and it seems to be the game plan for the Bin Black, is like just go for these sort of plays where they don't have to worry about Dagu too much. He's going to get out and just going to try and play off his survival. And Umbrak, he's almost got the Uber, but it makes me wonder, the closer he gets, the more at risk he is to actually losing this advantage. They pop off the Uber now, they need to find Umbrak, and Umbrak's already out. This is very nice play from Ascent. They've already backed out of all these doors. They do lose a scout, but I think that's a worthy trade there. You can call that a suicide wave if you really want to, Grumpy.
Yep, and for Ascent, they now have the 100% Uber ad, and they're going across point. Chris, in the background though, decides to go for 1v1 against Neo and loses it really badly, whilst the rest of Ascent are pushing over this point very slowly, just trying to spam players out, get in a good position to use this Uber, but don't think that's what the Bin Black want. And Yellen very far forward, looking like he wants to try and get that force, but Medico onto Yellen. Yellen goes on to Umbrak, like I mentioned. Umbrak keeps his Uber. Nice trigger discipline from him. More surfs coming out of Degu once again. This guy is just flying all around my screen right now. Elikor's so low in death, but Gink wants to punish him, and that's exactly what he does. Ends up going down, but that's not the worst trade because they get the Uber as well, and Degu is still alive, but he's getting chased by Medico. Medico goes down because of his overextension. Yellow onto Ombrak. Ombrak goes down. Opti trying to take down Degu, manages to get him, but he's all alone, and Bin Black are going to get the midpoint off this unless Elikor and Korvac have something to say about that.
I feel like the confidence is a little shattered over on Ascent here because they're not even going for pushes now, Grumpy. They had a full advantage there, and most people kind of treat this as an investment for the next sort of big play, but they just went like, no, we're going to bank this Uber, we're going to use this for a bad time, bad scenario, we're going to kind of use this as a safety Uber. And because of that, they just used it so much later, and it was a horrible sort of defensive Uber to start off with anyway, and now they're going in again, both teams without an Uber. Daegu still survives the aggression of Medico and Korvac, and it's the blob of the Bin Black just going into the face of Ascent now and just cleaning up the remains. I think they're terrified of taking the push onto Daegu, and he's just going to just jump away from the Uber. What's the point of Ubering on that guy?
Yep, and nice cliff hold from the Bin Black, all set up, just waiting for these Ascent players to come in onto them. But we do have Nia on that sniper as well, so he may be able to pop some headshots off if he gets in a good position. He is on that cliff area, but still no concern. He manages to get Hem, so that's the first pick from him. Medico tries to go in for a bomb, fluffs his jump, and Korvac goes down on a bomb. Elikor goes down to Lucas. Oh, it's not looking good for Ascent right now. Yellen tries to go in. Medico punishes him for that. The Uber got forced out of the Bin Black though, so they're going to have to put everything on to getting Ombrak, and Ombrak's really low, not in a good position. Chris just goes straight in, walks, WM walks onto Ombrak. Medico, everyone down for Ascent pretty much, and that is the third and final round for the Bin Black Turbo.
It's a bit risky going with that sniper. I can see why they want to shake things up because the backs are against the wall. They need to do something different because what's been working hasn't been working. But because they went that sniper, they haven't really got any sort of presence class to kind of take this ground that they need to take. And as the time's ticking away, you need to take presence. I don't care if you have a sniper in your class and he's going to get those headshots, 50 seconds from now. When you've only got 20 seconds left, you need that scout class to kind of take reign of the map, and they didn't have that, and it kind of was the hallmark of the final round of this. It was all over.
And having a look at the logs right now, Lucas, yeah, that doesn't surprise me that he has such high damage because he was just playing very basic demo compared to what we were seeing.
Look at Christopher.
Chris, just nuts. Well, I'll get on to what I want to say about Chris, but Lucas actually surprised me because you got Elikor just going nuts. Like, Elikor was just trying his best to fly across, get some god pipes onto Daegu, and you had Lucas just playing a much more passive demo role, and it just was working better for his team. Yeah, good point actually, Beta. Neo and Chris have got the exact same stats on kills and deaths. 28 to 9, 28 to 9. I felt like Chris was doing more of an impact. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I think it's because there was a lot of points when Neo was back in spawn, kind of building Uber. So this is why the damages differentiate a little bit. But usually what would happen, I think, is Neo would be the one to clean up all the mid-fights for Ascent. So if there's any sort of mid-fights going in any sort of Ascent favour, it was because of Neo kind of cleaning up. So that's why it kind of goes unchecked, while Chris was kind of the one that would kind of turn up in the later fights, where he's just kind of like killing like 9 dudes, one after the other, these little chokeways, and like cleaning up damage in the later portions of the game on his own.
Yeah, that does make sense. It's just like a few times I saw Chris just WM1 into Ombrak and just take him down. But actually, one thing I do want to quickly look at versus Ombrak and Daegu, if we could just go back to the previous set of logs, is the damage taken difference between Ombrak and Daegu. Is there much difference? No. So there's a 3 death difference between the two, but I thought it would be higher because of the amount of serfs that Degu was actually performing. But I feel like Ombrak did hold his own, just wasn't doing the crazy stuff that Degu seemed to be pulling out of the hat with that. So that's quite interesting. I thought there would be a little bit of a difference on that.
It felt. God, what went wrong? What went wrong for these teams? They had very different approaches how they wanted to take the mid fights, and it felt like just the Bin Black had much better forward holds as well compared to Ascent.EU. I don't think there was ever a time where they were challenged over on Ascent.EU over on the Bin Black when it came to pushing out of their base, while it felt like a massive deal breaker for Ascent.EU. So I feel like it's just that. It's not so much the stat play. It's not who's got the mechanical skill or who's just hitting their shots over the other or who's dying less. I think it's just who's doing a better job at these holds. And the Bin Black are just doing better at these forward holds and the spamming. And, it is a bonus that Daegu is kind of dodging what little resistance that Ascent has as well.
But just before we go on to the interviews, if you had to pick a player of this little series so far, who have you picked as your man of the series, man of the match, so to speak?
Man of the series, ooh la la. Well, let's break it down map by map and let's see if the trend follows. So I'm going to go with Chris for the product map, just because it had some zanier moments where he kind of brought things back for his team. And he had a pretty good later portion of the map. Not so much at the start, but they were controlling those soldiers on the mid fights as well. So I'm going to give the badge to Chris. Over on that, on Cardinal, probably. I don't know. It's kind of a team effort, really. Maybe Gink.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Gink had some highlight moments where he was just kind of like going in behind and sort of doing these massive backcap plays, drawing a lot of players back. He was certainly like the most showmanship of them all. But I'm going to go with Gink actually for the first one. So I guess overall, probably Chris. I think Chris had a solid first Cardinal map and he had a really good product map. So I guess by that alone, he has to get man of the match.
Okay, yeah, I can't disagree with that. I would actually have picked Yellen just for
Yellen was solid.
Yeah, but I think it wasn't because he wasn't too flashy. He got that air shot and stuff like that, but I think he just played very solid with his team during both maps. I think he kind of stuck everything and was kind of a nice anchor for the team in a lot of the fights. But we'll move on. We've actually been joined by Ombrak. How you doing, Ombrak?
Yo, okay.
And do you want to take some questions away on this, Turbo?
Oh man, isn't that the host job? This is my holiday right now.
Okay, so Ombrak, coming out of that, how obviously commiserations for your loss, but on that, like, what do you feel like wasn't gelling well with your team? Do you feel like there was anything like that was really kind of just holding you guys back during those games, or do you feel like you just got beaten by a better team?
We decided to play the official basically 5 minutes before it happened. We were thinking about just giving the bin a default loss because we didn't want to play. So based on that, I think we did okay, considering like half of the team didn't want to play the game anyway. So I don't know. I felt we did alright. Once again, we lost to a team who asked for Merc, who was better than their original player. But this isn't the first time that happened, so maybe we should have said no, I don't know.
All right, okay, Grumpy, I'm back from my holiday. I want a follow-up question. Ombrak, why do you guys not want to play TF2?
Because it's really boring.
Wow.
Like from the screens we have, most of the teams just don't want to push or don't want to take any risk. It's like they have to win the scrims, even though I don't think teams realize scrims are meaningless and you have to try things instead of just waiting. So I think we got a bit bored of pretty much having to come play scrims and knowing, except for some teams, you'll just have to wait for a lot of time and just basically waste your time. So and I don't know, it's not really fun, I guess.
So was it just a bad night of scrims that kind of led into this sort of like?
No, it's not one night. It's like it's been something that's been lurking for quite some weeks now.
Okay. So do you guys kind of get worried when it comes to officials? Because, I mean, there's a lot more on the line. People kind of get nervous about making these pushes and whatnot. Do you guys, or are officials still really fun for you guys? Is it better that it's like more serious, or does it justify these sort of slow TF2 play?
What?
I'm basically saying, do you like officials
more
than the scrims?
No, it's even worse because I think tonight we didn't really went into that push gameplay because like on Cardinal we stayed on our last a lot of time and played with our sniper, but it's like people complain a lot about how Crowns slowed the game down and how the game is super slow now, but I don't think they try to go into the opposite direction. They don't really try to move forwards to play aggressively. Even more in like you said, in officials there's way more on the line, so if there's one place people won't push, it's on officials. I felt like the bean tonight was okay, as in they tried to push a lot more than other people, but like if anything, officials are way worse than PCWs, which are already super slow. But it's like people complain, but they don't do anything but like to change it.
Could I just ask a quick question here? With obviously, I just want to address a bit of the attitude towards this official, just a little bit. Do you feel like, alongside obviously the pacing of the game and how the game's changed since sort of the Crowns slowed it down, do you also feel like the maps may have affected your guys' mood to want to play? Because Cardinal or Product Product has always been known as a bit of a map, and then Cardinal's like this new map that people aren't used to. Like, did that come into play with kind of the attitude towards this official?
Well, we're not a really good team on Product, so I guess this team atmosphere wasn't really good when we played Product, but as like I said it last week when we played Cardinal, this is not the map is not finished. Sometimes the stickies hits you through the wall, so that's a pretty big issue in my opinion. And like when we try to push from our last to second, there's so much ground to cover. You basically can't really push out, at least not now, because people don't really know the map really well yet. But I don't think this map should be in the map pool again. I don't think this is free hate. I think it's actually legit points. The map shouldn't have been added yet. It's not completed, I think. But it's not really the map. Like, I think that most of the teams play all the maps the same way. They try to play on the smallest. Like, they don't try to play on the smallest edges they have. And it's not about the map tonight. It's just the pace of the game overall. And I don't know. Again, I think people complain, but they don't really try new stuff. They try at the start of the season, but as soon as it matters, they just go back to press S and ways. But again, I think the bean tonight is actually not a good example of that. I think they play more aggressive than other people, and I'm not surprised. But I think tonight isn't the prime example about that. What I'm saying, but this is what I'm saying. I think is a more general feelings towards the games. I think that we have as a team, and I think others have as well.
Man, what do we issue first? I guess we could talk about the elephant in the room before we get into maybe the maps and like just more the gameplay that we saw tonight. But does this mean this is it for Ascent.EU in its current form on rack? Is people taking a step back now? Is the game just not how they remember it, or are you guys going to keep chugging along in the season despite the unfun aspect of not pressing the S key?
I'm not gonna say what we're gonna do. I know one guy is stepping down for sure. I've been on the verge of quitting for like the start of the season, so I'm just gonna go with whatever the team is doing. If they want to keep on playing, I'll stay, and if they want to quit, then I'm not gonna force them to keep on playing, because this isn't how we should approach the game. We should only play if we enjoy it. So right now, before we went into our warm-up, we were decided that this was it, and we would drop from the season. We had to play a warm-up for the bus crew, so we didn't drop out of this, of course, because there would have been a dick move, and we decided it went okay, so we decided to at least play the official. But now I think the future is still unknown for Ascent in its current form. I don't know if we're gonna end the season or just stop it. Still, we have to talk about this, but yeah,
Okay.
I can't really say now.
All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I guess to lighten the mood, we can talk about the game a little bit. Let's talk about the actual gameplay. Like, let's get into Cardinal. I know it's not a favourite map of yours, Ombrag, or the unfinished business aside, but I feel like watching you guys, you had some parts of the map really figured out. I really liked your last hold and like your sort of methodology or like your way you push out from last as well. It seems like very well structured or where, just very smart compared to the bin black. But you tell me, Ombrag, where do you guys feel like you're doing things right on Cardinal? Where you're doing things wrong? How are you? Just break it down piece by piece on the map. Where would you say is like now that Cardinal's out of the map rotation, where do you think you guys had it figured out and where you didn't have it figured out?
Yeah, I think our last were really good, at least when it comes to equal Ubers. I think it's really hard to break our holds, even though there was quite some times where I just felt really weak and I could have dropped, but yeah, I got lucky enough not to. But I think our last are good, but the mids are shaky, and I feel like pushing out of, at least for us, pushing out of last towards the second point is really hard because there's a lot of entrances to cover. There's this place on last, the underpass on the left side that is like useless, and that's just one more spot to check that just loses you some time for no reason. I don't know why this place exists. Maybe banning asks for it. I don't know, but I don't think this should be here. And like people want to actually see like interesting gameplay when people push out of last, but you can't push out of last if you have 1,000 million places to check before you do so. I think once we got super lucky not to get back capped, and now I don't know where Gink was, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was hiding there. So pushing out of last is really hard, and again, there's a lot of ground to cover, kind of similar to Process in a way, where you have to jump on the spire from your last, but Process has less entrances to check, I feel like, so it's a bit easier. And even as a Process is hard to push in itself, so you make it even harder, and of course you're gonna have trouble. At least we do, and but I don't know if it's us as a team that we haven't figured out the map yet, or if it's the map in itself that is currently flawed.
Okay. Was there anything about the bin black that you were particularly struggling with tonight? I mean, I know you touched upon Chris kind of being an upgrade for them. Was he just really the linchpin for that team that kind of secured the victory, or was it another reason why the bin black kind of took it away tonight?
Chris was really had a high impact on product, not as much on Cardinal. I wouldn't be surprised if it was his first time playing Scout on Cardinal, so I don't think it was it wasn't the reason we lost the map. I think they did okay. Well, of course they did. We lost the map, but
it was close. It was close.
Yeah, it was close, but I think we lost because we did some mistakes we could have avoided. I think Lucas was really strong on mid, especially. He basically won the first two mids on his own because he killed Eloquent on the first one, and he got me down to HHP on the second one. So props to him. But other than that, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't think they have anything figured out in a really interesting way. They just play the map kind of, as a new map. They don't have anything like set up plans, but we don't either. I don't think anyone has.
I see what you're saying. All right. Let's head on over to product, like our last little set of questions. Now, what did you think went wrong on that map, and what did you think went right on that map?
Nothing went right. I think
Nothing. You got a round?
We did some kind of herpy at some point on the second round. The bin scored. I think me and Nico were standing right up, next to the point, and we didn't step on it, so that we lost the round. So that was kind of ugly. But I don't know. We are really bad on product. We have won the map only once, and it was on the warm up beforehand. So this isn't a map we're good at. And yeah, Chris was outstanding, I think.
Oh yeah, wait. Can the audience hear you, Beta? Oh, Beta says, "Why didn't you run Sniper more?"
I don't know. I guess Neo plays Sniper, and it's mostly how if he feels like he's hitting stuff, he's gonna play sniper. But I don't think that was the issue. That would maybe we would have done better if we had a sniper full time. But I feel like our problems were more deep than just having a sniper. We lost easy fights that we shouldn't have lost. I got disconnected from my scout quite a bit as well, so I don't think having a snipe would have been an issue. And when you want to run a snipe on products, you usually want to have 2 scouts and one sniper, 1 soldier.
Yeah.
And considering Neo is the scout going sniper, and neither Korbak or Medico can play scout really, really well, like in a way that would help us having a sniper. I don't think that would have made such a big difference. Like, if we had created the team, yes, we would have run sniper, but unfortunately we don't. So it got stolen.
All right, Grumpy, have you got any questions festering back there?
Nah, I think you've covered pretty much everything I was going to ask.
All right, I think I've washed my hands of the interview. If you want to close us out, buddy.
All right, well, we'll go through shout-outs. So, Umbrak, have you got any shout-outs for anyone?
Shout out to my team, even though they are fucking quitters. Shout out to Ascent. Whatever happens with them, it's been really good to be. It seems like a farewell message, but whatever happens with Ascent, it's been really good to be under their banners. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Uberchain. Shout outs to Messi, who threw at World Cup, and I'm really happy to play Iceland maybe in the next round of the World Cup. And shout out to, who am I missing? Kratos Dogs, I guess, even though Kratos is a backstabber. And shout out to Babs.
Damn, there was a lot of.
Yeah, I'm holding a lot inside, you know.
Yeah, it's good to share. Grumpy.
I've got shout-outs to Lucky, my little man Jack, and Grumpy Mum as well. She's not watching, but shout-outs to Grumpy Mum. I spent the last few days with Grumpy Mum, which has been great. So yeah. You got any shout-outs, Turbo?
I'm gonna give a big shout out to the game on the other channel that Beta has just kindly reminded us for. And we're also going to give a big shout out to Beta as well, our professional reminder, question maker, fill in for the producer guy when he gets ill guy, frag maker. He does it all. He even said he wanted to write an article just so he could say he does it all. But a big shout out to that Danishman, Danish action hero. Other than that, big shout out to you guys, the true heroes, the reason we do this, so thank you for watching at home. And a big shout out to my boy Grumpy, who's ever so kindly said he will do the outro.
Yeah, which you've just done, which is wonderful. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you next week and have fun on the other channel. So, bye-bye for now.